This video is for two different types of people. If you're interested in how rich people don't pay taxes, that I'm going to cover. And then if you've heard of different loan protocols where you can take cryptocurrency and place it in a virtual bank, we'll call it, and then you can borrow against that, right? Well, this is another form of that we're going to dive deep into understanding. So if you're in either one of those boats, that's what we're going to cover in this video. But first, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. So I just got into crypto in the last like 2 weeks or so, or like maybe a couple months. You can look back at the last several videos because I started looking into it when I started making videos about it because I was like, this is one of the ways I hold myself accountable by like forcing myself to learn new things and talk to new people and try new things, right? Because then I have things to share. But it's a way for me to force myself to get better. So that's besides the point. Let's get into this video. Why do rich people pay less in taxes? And I don't think it's necessarily rich people, just people who use their brains, right? And it just happens to be that once you do that, you become rich, right? Anybody who uses their brains can do this. And it's, you just buy assets and then you borrow against those assets. So, for example, this is a duplex right here that I own that pays me, right? Because I have this property and I rent it out. That way I don't have to pay the bills on it. And I get to live for free. So you can take money out of this and I can go buy another house that can also produce cash flow for me, right? Well, that's kind of the idea, because if you take out debt, you don't have to pay any taxes. So think about this. When do you pay taxes? When you earn income, or when you sell something in terms of like a capital gain of some sort, right? Or when you're getting a dividend or interest or that kind of thing. But when you just are borrowing to buy other assets, right, and you can skim some off of there, then you don't have to be concerned with ever selling shit. And that's what is valuable. Think about the average home price in 1971 was $25,000. Now it's over $300,000. Like, that's a lot, you know? And that's what crypto has the potential to do, or even greater, right? In a much, much, much shorter time frame. So let's get into liquid loans here. By the way, if you enjoy this, you might enjoy the video. It's going to come out probably tomorrow or the next day, where I actually talked to Jesse from Liquid Loans, so we can get a better understanding of it from somebody who's not on the team in terms of their team, but who from the outside is trying to understand everything, right? So you can start with the wallet, right? So I have Pulse, because it's going to work on Pulsechain, right? So I have Pulse, and I put that into a smart contract or a vault. When I do that, I get my USDL. That is their stable coin that they've set up so that basically it's going to be pegged to $1 of Pulse in value in USD terms, but it's not going to be based on USD like other stable coins. It's going to be based on Pulse, right? Other stable coins are based on the fiat currency, where this is not, right? So it's further away from regulation. Because I just read their white paper, so this is my good understanding of that. Now, once you have that, because there's going to be different parties involved, and I'm going to show you another chart after this. So you have your USD, or somebody has their USD. Then they could go spend that, and to do that, I believe they didn't touch here in their white paper at all, which I think is something that's missing in there, because it's the question in my mind when I went through and read it. Isn't that the point of the white paper, is trying to kind of like answer questions and stuff about it in a certain extent, or articulate it? Because how is somebody going to go spend that? There has to be a way to convert USD to, say, Pulse or something like that. Right? There has to be another way to do that outside of this system, you would think, right? And that wasn't mentioned. But then you can also take your USD and you put it into a stability pool, which gets you the net effect of three different things. So if you put your USD into the stability pool, so that means you put Pulse in, right? You put in, $10,000 worth of Pulse, and you took out $5,000 or some amount as USD stablecoin. And then instead of taking that money and using it, you just put it back into the system. It goes into the stability pool. That gives you Pulse. Basically, you earn Pulse as accounts are liquidated, from my understanding. It also gives you a loan token. The loan token can be spent, which they didn't go into, so I don't know how you spend it. There has to be an exchange or something, I would think, and I don't know. You can let me know in the comments that they expect this to be on so that people can trade it to get to something that has more utility to them potentially, or if they just need the cash, right? Or you can take that token and you get more Pulse, and if you stake it, you get more Pulse and more USD. So think about this for a second. The first decision, right? You put your money in Pulse, and you're like, so you have Pulse, and you're going to put it in the system. When you put it in the system, you can take out up to, you can take out as much as you want. There's the threshold for starting to liquidate accounts is at 110%. So that would basically be $100, I think about $91. So if you put in $100, you could take out a loan for $91, and you would be at 110%. If you fall below 110%, then they start the liquidation process. And at that liquidation process, they will go through and distribute the Pulse that was associated with that to other parties in the stability pool, right? And then the same thing happens in the loan staking area where I don't remember exactly how, but if you're in the loan staking pool, I think that's probably obviously something to do with the debt, I would think, in some way. And once that's paid down, then they burn the token or something, I think, and the associated USDL and Pulse are also given out. So putting in $1 in the front end, you'll earn Pulse in two different ways, and you'll also earn more USD. So this way you're getting paid on this thing in two ways. You put USD in, you're getting more USD out, and you're getting more Pulse out, right? So you just put USD into the system, and you get more Pulse out of the system, and you get more USD out of the system. So this is going to be very interesting when this goes live. There was another chart here, right? Because this solves that tax thing we talked about earlier. Also, there's no interest, which is dope. That's awesome. So there is a couple fees involved, which I have to read the white paper again to fully get a better understanding of the fees, because that was the math portions of it, I believe, and I want to just understand that better. Okay, so this I thought was also a little interesting to look at. So this is from the perspective of we'll switch perspectives, but to create a loan, right? Open a vault, Pulse's deposited. This is kind of the same idea that we were just looking at, it just from a slightly different angle. They receive the USD. This is what I was talking about. They can deposit that into the stability pool. They deposit, so the USD they receive, they can just stick it right in here. That's what we just mentioned. And they're going to receive Pulse and the loan token, which we just talked about. I don't know what the loan token represents, but they're going to receive the loan token. And then they're going to also, if they stake the loan token versus, say, trading the loan token to something else that they can use or get cash for, which I'm not sure how that is actually done. I'd like to learn how to do that. If there's an expectation there that something, you would have to be able to there needs to be a marketplace that you can trade that in some fashion. But then you're going to receive Pulse and receive more USDL. So this is going to be super interesting. I'm really looking forward to this coming out. I think I'm actually going to be sacrificing to this because this is something that I'm doing in like the old legacy world, so that I don't have to pay any taxes. and it also gives you depreciation, and like when you do it with real estate, right? But this doesn't have any type of depreciation, but that actually gives me an idea. And maybe I'll talk about this with Jesse, or maybe if you guys find this interesting, you can take a second and you can tag myself and them on Twitter so that I can get somebody's attention and see if this would be somehow this could be in here if there was something related to depreciation. But I guess it doesn't matter if there's no taxes involved. Period. But that's interesting. So if you want to follow along on Twitter, that's one easy way to get a hold of me. Check the link down below. Or if you are on Instagram, you can check out my fitness stuff on Instagram. I do a lot of fitness stuff. Or I also have another YouTube channel. You'll see a video pop up here shortly. And you can go to that one, which is a lot more of the truth around like the bodybuilding, chemical, like gear, steroids, and that kind of stuff. And supplementation and training and some mindset stuff on that channel. So if you care to check out that stuff, you can check it out. Appreciate you guys. Peace.